So this whole tourist area basically is built because of this. This is an actually intact ancient how do I say yao? Basically a place where we burn porcelain. It's the largest still exists and still in use. It's actually still in use, and in 2009 it just won some award. I want to show you what's on top. Those is the stuff that called the xiapo, and it's basically in order for the porcelain to stay its color and to get clean, you had to put the raw clay in these cases to get burned, so the smoke doesn't go inside. So if it's, I know now, like, people's like, oh, if it has smoke, it means it's actually burned by log fire. But no, the goal is to not have the smoke goes in. And they're also in the old times, the reason that it's so hard to create a large piece is because you cannot create a large enough casing for it. So in the old times, depends on like the size of the porcelain you're actually burning. They have different size of the 这个那个英文窑应该是叫是 KILN。对，但是我觉得 we're trying to verify the English word for these burning pit. It's spells as KILN, but I don't know the pronunciation. It should be kiln, I guess. And then so this is actually a recreation of the big one, but in the old times it can be used. This size of pit can be used for burning smaller ones. Smaller porcelain, but I like it because I can actually walk inside. It's a little brighter. I can show you, these are the casings. These are the bowl casings, actually. You can see this one's a little brighter. Yeah. And then the back, this is the chimney. Ooh, the chimney looks like a well. And over here, you can see the wall inside. It actually has this glaze-looking things because in the old times, the material we used to actually burn a yao, like the Chinese word for this burning pit is called yao, is to use pine wood, and the oil from the burning over time will actually come out and then goes on top of this. If it's too much, it's actually in the old times it's not considered desirable. Now a lot of people say, oh, the wood-fired porcelain, it has all these dust on there, but those in the old times is all considered is actually a quality flaw. It's considered very inferior, that we actually do not want them. And they call these the sweat of yao.
来进行操作，这就是我们传统方式。
So he's 80-some years old. I do not believe it. So right now I'm in Jingdezhen, which in the old times called Changnan, and that's where China got its name from. And see, in the old times, because there's no electricity power, obviously this is a show, and so he was trying to show us that people use a wooden stick to spin the wheel. But I just do not believe. 真的有80多岁啊？
小时候我们国务院特殊津贴的老师。
Wow, like because he has special skills, so he actually it's like the government basically pays him till he dies. So like so basically. But I still cannot believe he's 80-some year old.
因为咱们这
师傅，你怎么是这么长寿、这么年轻的呀？
运动。对，这还是这句话，真的是生命在于运动。我们这个木质转盘路车看上去蛮轻松的，有几十斤重。然后除了这个活的话，其实还是蛮耗费体力的。
So they're trying to say that the reason he lives for so long is because, he looks so young, is because he exercised, and it's actually a few like it's really heavy, the wheel to turn it with the wooden sticks, but he makes it look very easy.
像这个工具的话呢，主要是确定咱们生产杯碗盘碟各种造型，所有都不行师傅。哎，你把弄过。
He obviously didn't like those. I thought it looks pretty good.
没有看上去有我们师傅标准的，因为这泥。
And also, like, he's so famous. See, this is all the pictures that he has taken with all the China or the president of China. He still didn't like it. He keeps throwing them away. 我想看师傅做一个师傅觉得满意的，
完整的，对吗？就是这一坨泥肯定都不太行。因为我们这个泥太软了，你看它，我们收塑形的过程中，它那碗都变形了，然后你这块做这块特别不好做，所以我刚刚是建议师傅换一坨泥算了，说这坨泥可能不太行。
They're saying that this clay right now that he's working on is too soft.
工作这好吃还是不太实用的，我师傅。
没办法，这个没办法。
哦，It's good. It's a good one. Wow. That's how you get a bowl.
哎，小心小心。之后颜色变成蓝色了，它能够保证永不变色，青花它的一个特点。
So blue and white porcelain, another reason it's really hard is because once you paint it on, you can't change it. It's unlike the one that's painted on top of the glaze, because this one is painted on plain bare clay. So I guess absorb it. My English got stuck, but it goes into the clay really quick. So you can't really change it. That's why it's more difficult, and usually the more experienced artists would do this one. And also because it's under the glaze, so a blue and white porcelain's color, no matter how many years, that's why a lot of the the artifact that was digged out from a long time ago, they still look very vivid. 你接着画。
这个就是小的。
See, it's so fast. She already did a line in the bowl. You know, it's very common that you see on a lot of Chinese bowl that it has the line. And see how fast she does it. She knows what she's doing.
像我们说它画这种图案的话呢，实际上就是我们的市花，我们的茶花的图案。这是一种抽象派的茶花，所以相对比较简单一点。
So she's actually painting a tea flower, an art expression of tea flower. It does not look like a tea flower. 您是按照这个样子画的是吧？
对，它烧制而成就是那样子。
Yeah, so once it's so see now she's painting it. See the color is actually sort of like black, as you can see, but after it's burned, it becomes blue and white porcelain. Of course, this is actually before we put the glaze on. So once the glaze covers it, when it's wet, it cannot see the painting anymore. And that's also in the old times what makes porcelain so expensive, because there's so many unknown factors during the homemaking. And once it's burned, it might just break, or the color might not come out as how we want it. So basically, it depends on the, a lot of famous artists right now, when they say porcelain artists, they're talking about porcelain painting, because when you paint this, how light you go and how much pressure it actually applies on the painting, it will vary a lot after it's burned under very high temperature, so it might not actually come out the same at all, or it might create discoloration, or the shape gets ruined.
它没有任何一滴油下去。
Wow. So this is to put a glaze on the clay to make it fine china, and the trick is he has to basically immerse the whole bowl in the glaze water, but it cannot go past the rim, which is really hard to do. I can picture.
那这块的话呢，我们 上边的图案还是得靠师傅呢给它画上去的，所以我们接着得到后边去看那画坯，进行一种装饰。
And obviously, it's been painted already. And this is so porcelain making. In terms of the artworks on top of it, sometimes people call it on top of the glaze, or like basically under the glaze or above the glaze. And now, obviously, this is under the glaze, and once it's burned, it's going to become blue and white porcelain. That's how amazing it is. And also that's why the real blue and white porcelain, the color is so subtle because it's not painted on top of the glaze.
它现在画这种颜料是不能永久保留，所以釉上彩最少得烧2次。
So what we see here is so in the old times all the colored ones were painted above the glaze, and after this it gets reburnt to make sure the color stays on and looks smoother. Even now, and also nowadays it's the same. So all the color that goes on top of the glaze are the color ones. But sometimes, people now actually would paint the blue color on top of the glaze as well. So the real blue and white porcelain has to be under the glaze, and it was not blue at the beginning. The blue color comes out from the burning, and the fake blue and white, obviously, the most fake ones are not hand painted. It's printed on. In Teaware we have both hand painted stuff and then the printed on stuff. That's why the price varies so much. And so if it's hand painted, sometimes the fake blue and white porcelain is actually painted blue color on top of the glaze versus under the glaze.
我们后面为了专门做玲珑是怎么做呢？用釉来把它镂空地方给填起来。那填好之后，经过高温一烧，就这样的效果。你看。
See, this is what sometimes some right now some of the very expensive porcelains in the market has all these little rice shaped dots on there that's transparent, and this is. And the original intent is actually to basically just to make it hollow. But then this vessel becomes sort of unusable if you want to hold liquid. So what happens later is basically we glaze it on to make it to cover the hole, so it becomes a complete vessel instead of having holes on it. And many people feel like that's glass, but it's actually the glaze. 哪个再摸一个那个有声音的吗？
每次都有，你自己也插得响啊。自己都可以插得响。这个销售啊。
The earrings is kind of like a crystal glass.
然后左边就放到镜，实际上你就可以拿放到镜来看一下它的一个效果。
So sometimes even it's all hand painted porcelain. People ask why the price is so different. It's because the level or the painting is different basically. So see, this one in Chinese painting is called gongbi. I don't know if you can see, the brush is different. It's actually a skinnier brush. I remember learning these when I was in the school in China when I was little, and it's really, really hard. So he's painting the hair on these rats. Sometimes when you look at them, you actually need to use a magnifying glass that you can see all the hair on it. And it's much harder than the rough painting that we saw earlier, where they use the fatter brush.
皇家使用，所以这是官窑器的功能。
Now this is my secret favorite kind of porcelain. I don't know if you can see. Basically, this is not painted on. The color part is painted on, but the pattern, as you can see. Oh. She's very old. Now, see, it's actually carved out. This technique is called pahua. It's basically called how do you say it? It's called the crawling flowers. I really love these. Every time I see these ones in the store in any porcelain, I can't move my feet. It just looks so cool.